So before we start this play posit, I want to give you the formula for slope, and we label slope as m, okay? So m is going to equal y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, and I'm saying sub 2 and sub 1, okay? It just means it's a subscript. So I want to find slope, and I also want to use the formula for the slope-intercept form of an equation. So if you will remember, this variable is going to be our slope, and this variable is going to be where it slices through the y-axis. So these two formulas are going to be very important during Module 1. So what we have first is, for the following exercises, we want to find the slope of a line given 2 points. Then I want to find the equation of the line. So I am first given the point, what am I given? 5, 4, and 7, 9. So remember that slope is how the line moves. Slope is how the line moves. And I want to figure out how this particular line is moving that connects these 2 points. So if I plot 5, 4, and if I plot 7, 9, I'm going to have some sort of a diagonal line there. And that's just an extremely rough sketch. That is not perfect by any means. But here's an XY coordinate, and that's the first set that I wrote down. Here's an XY coordinate, and that's the second set that I wrote down. So I am going to find my slope by inputting y sub 2, which is 9, minus y sub 1, which is 4, over x sub 2, which is 7, over x sub 1, which is 5, minus x sub 1, which is 5. So when I do this math, 9 minus 4 is 5, 7 minus 5 is 2, and that's reduced as far as it can go. So far I know the slope of the line containing these points. Now I'm going to grab either point. I don't care which one. You grab this one if it makes you happy. You grab this one if it makes you happy. Because there's an infinite number of points on the line. We need one in order to find out what the rest of this equation is. So I have y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to grab, we're just going to grab this point because it's the first one I wrote down. And I know what y is. Y is 4 equals an m of 5 halves times an x of 5. And if you'll notice, b is the only thing that I'm missing. That means I can find out what b is. So multiplying my fractions, remember to multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So I get 25 halves plus b. Then I'm going to subtract 25 halves from both sides. So I need a common denominator, and that common denominator is going to be 2. So I need a 2 attached to my 4, and I need a 2 attached to my 25. Well, I've already got the 25 with the 2. So how do I move from a denominator of 1 to a denominator of 2? I multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on the top and the bottom, and that gives me 8 halves. So what is 8 halves reduced? It is 4. Okay, so 8 minus 25 is going to give me a negative 17 over 2. And that now has the last piece of information that I need in order to solve this equation for this line. So my slope is 5 halves. And he slices through the y-axis at negative 17 halves. So that is the equation of that line. Now we're going to do another one. So I have the point 3, negative 3, 2, and the point 4, negative 7. So I'm going to start with slope again. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the first set of points I wrote down, and this is the second set of points that I wrote down. That's supposed to be a 2. Okay, so fill it in. What's y sub 2? He's negative 7 minus y sub 1 is 2 over x sub 2 is 4 minus x sub 1 is negative 3. So negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9. And 4 plus 3 is 7. So I know that my slope is a negative 9/7. So looking at this, I now have y equals mx plus b. And I want to find out what b is. So I'm going to grab either point. So just for fun, we'll grab the second point. Okay. So my y is going to be a negative 7 equals a negative 9/7 times x, which is 4, plus b, pardon me. Okay, that was my alarm going off. All right, so what do I do with fractions? I multiply straight across the top, so I get negative 36/7 plus b. I need to subtract 36/7 from both sides, so I need a common denominator again. And that's going to be, I need to add 36/7, sorry. I need to add 36/7 because it was already negative. So negative 7 has a denominator of 1. I need him to have a denominator of 7. So what do? Multiply top and bottom by 7. So I get negative 49/7 plus 36/7 is how many sevenths? And that's going to be negative 13/7. So my final answer is going to be y equals the slope and then a y-intercept of negative 13/7. Okay, so these next two, we're just going to use a given slope, so I don't have to do the hard work. The hard work is done, and negative 3, 6. So I can just dive into y equals mx plus b. Okay, so I'm going to substitute a 6 in for y. My m is negative 2, or my slope is negative 2. And I find out that 6 equals 6 plus b. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I get 0 equals b. So in this case, the y-intercept is the origin. So I have a negative 2x, and then I would have a plus 0, but I'm too lazy to write the plus 0. So our next one is m is 3, and then I've got the point 2, negative 4. So just dive straight into y equals mx plus b. So negative 4 is 3 times 2 plus b. And I'm just pulling it straight from that point. So this becomes negative 4 is 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides, and I get negative 10 is b. So what is my equation? My equation is going to be y equals my slope, and then a y-intercept of negative 10. So these last two for section 1.1, we are going to find the y-intercept. So in this case, my y-intercept, please focus, is 2. So I already know that this is a plus 2. And I've got y equals something x. I need to find out how this line moves. So I need to get to the next point in a friendly manner. Well, here's the next point right here. So how do I get there? I'm going to move down 2 over 2. So down 2 is negative 2 over 2. Gives me a slope of negative 1. And I am too lazy to write the 1. So it's just negative x. There's a 1 that's sitting there that I'm too lazy to write. So negative x plus 2. So let's try this one. What is our point here? Is at negative 2. And our point here is at 1. So first of all, where does he slice through the y-axis at? He slices through the y-axis at negative 2. And then how does he move? Well, to get to the next point, I need to go up 2, right 1. So up 2 over 1 gives me a slope of 2. And that is it for this part of the Play Pause It.